Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appear in our today's Hindu. First of all, let us see the topics of the day. First topic that we are going to see in this class is Supreme Court asks government to regulate content on internet. So recently we all know that our central government is taking lots of steps to control content which is generated by AI in internet. And again, once again, Supreme Court gave directives to government to take proper regulations to content to regulate this content on internet. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity, guys. And next topic it is about IMF gives C grade for India's national account statistics. It is about grading of Indian economic system. And who gave this? IMF. This topic is very important from your economy point of view. Here you have to see why India got this C grade. And next topic it is about Dal Lake and Cold Wave. Here whatever the image that you are seeing, it is surroundings of Dal Lake. And now in this Dal Lake region we can experience this cold wave. Not only in this northern part and northwestern part of India, recently in state of Telangana also we had this cold wave. That means there is a very high chance of getting question regarding this cold wave in your prelims. And we are going to see that in this class. And this topic is very important from your GS paper 1 under geography. And next topic is Cyclone Ditwa to bring intense rainfall till weekend in Tamil Nadu. So this article is talking about one cyclone which originated in Bay of Bengal. And here you have to see certain facts regarding the cyclone from your GS paper 1 under geography. And next topic is PM Modi inaugurates Skyroot's first orbital rocket. So actually this is one milestone in our space sector, guys, because our Prime Minister is inaugurating private sector's rocket. This topic is very important from your science and technology from GS paper 3. And next topic is enabling a modern and future ready labor ecosystem. This topic is about new 4 labor codes that we already had discussion in our earlier classes. And this topic is important from polity point of view and even from GS paper 3 economy also this article is important. And now let us see this all articles in detail from both prelims and mains point of view. At the end of this class, I will give you even prelims practice questions. Try to solve that questions, guys. And please don't skip this video. Please watch until last so that you will be getting lots of insights regarding how to read current affairs and how the questions can be asked in your examination from both prelims and mains point of view. Okay, now let us see the first article. Look at the title, guys. Supreme Court asks government to regulate content on internet. So why now Supreme Court is asking the government to regulate the content? So as you all know that we have Article 142, we have Article 143. So which article relates about, which article says about Supreme Court directive to the government? Article 142 or 143? Yes, Article 143 talks about advisory jurisdiction. Here President can ask questions for Supreme Court. But Article 142 gives the power for Supreme Court to give directives to the state government or central government, whatever it may be. Okay, now let us see this article. Let us find out the keywords. The keywords here are, first one is content on internet. So what is the problem with this content of internet, guys? Content on internet. As you all know that we are using different social media platforms, and you know better than me, like WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it may be. So what is happening here is there is increased availability of content. So whenever there is increased availability of content, what is happening now? We don't know which is genuine and which is advertisement related content. That is the first one. And next one here is lots of times there is increased spread of misuse or misinformation or disinformation. And even because of this AI, now it is very easy to generate whatever the content it may be, like images, audio, and as well as videos, etc. And we are posting it on our different platforms. So because of this, sometimes it creates chaos in our society. Sometimes it will cause communal tensions in our society. So because of this, we have to control that. And not only that, even there is increased sexual content, vulgar content is also happening in the social media platforms. And even there are many reality shows and as well as TV shows which are also using some vulgar language. So because of this, it is causing some chaos in our society. So because of all those reasons, now Supreme Court is asking government to regulate content on internet. Now let us see the context why Supreme Court came up with this kind of directive. Supreme Court, in a significant hearing, urged union government to establish robust mechanisms for regulating social media and user generated content, because there is increasing of obscene, that is nothing but vulgar or sexual related content, and perverse means adverse content which is increasing in our internet. So to control that, now Supreme Court is asking central government to come up with certain mechanisms. Why? Because there is lack of accountability for online creators and even platforms. They are not at all taking the responsibility of spreading of misinformation, this kind of vulgar information like that. So because of this, now Supreme Court is asking our central government to come up with a proper mechanisms regarding increasing of accountability of the content which is forwarding or which is becoming viral in the social media. If you see what is the background of this, which case Supreme Court is dealing with, and I think you might have know about this one reality show program in the TV, that is Ranveer Allahabadia versus Union of India case. In that case, Supreme Court find out that there are certain vulgar comments by YouTuber Ranveer Allahabadia on the show of India's Got Latent. So because of this comments, one FIR had been filed against him, and finally that led to the removal of that content on YouTube. And not only that, there is one more case called as Cure SMA Foundation of India versus Union of India. So this case also highlighted that yes, content against persons with disabilities is also like increasing, vulgarity is increasing. So because of this, what happened? There are many laws like SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act had been invoked. That means day by day, because of this kind of content, there is increase in number of cases. Because of this, now Supreme Court is giving directions for central government to come up with a proper mechanism. And what are those mechanisms we can come up? Please make a note. First one is Supreme Court now asking central government to come up with an autonomous regulation. We need to come up with an independent, neutral body to oversee about this social media content. Okay, the first one here is they are saying that we need to come up with a separate body, and this separate body's function should be overlooking, or like they have to screen what is that information which is passing in the social media. And next one here is this body would ensure accountability without government or industrial bias. It should not show any bias towards any government or industry, and this body has to ensure accountability regarding the content which is circulating in the social media. And next one is they are saying we have to take certain preventive measures. What are the preventive measures? Advance warning for adult content. If that content is having any vulgarity or any sexual related content, first of all they have to take adult content. They have to warn that this is adult content, not made for children. They have to give certain age limits. And next one is age verification to be done. Normally, whenever you're watching any videos, sometimes they will be asking confirm your age. So if there is any content which is mainly made for adult, there is a need of age verification. How can we verify the age? We can use Aadhaar linked IDs, so that we can restrict adult material for this children who are below certain age. And next one here is parental controls to filter unwanted content on devices. And even Supreme Court is asking government to improve awareness to the parents, like which content should be allowed to watch and which content should be like banned for the children, for their children. That means we need to increase parent supervision while children using these electronic gadgets. And next one here is fundamental rights affirmation. Supreme Court reiterated that internet access is a fundamental right under Article 19(1)(a). What is Article 19(1)(a)? Which talks about freedom of speech and expression. So here it is a fundamental right, but the platforms, they has to balance societal harmony also. And actually this article 191A is not absolute, right? So we can impose reasonable restriction. Which article says about these reasonable restrictions? Article 19.2 says about reasonable restrictions. So here we have to properly control or balance fundamental right. Along with that, we have to focus on societal harmony, and we have to impose Information Technology Act of 2000 for sure. There should be no negotiable. That means we should not allow this kind of disruption to social harmony related content in our social media platforms. That is about the Supreme Court said to the government, and this is very, very important article. And here you have to add about the recent advancements. Recently central government is also controlling AI based content, right? So what central government said, if any person who is posting any content, it may be image or it may be any audio or it may be any video which is generated by AI, they have to give a proper label. If that is image, 1 by 10th area should be used to display that content is generated by AI. If they are posting any video, initially 10 to 15 seconds, they have to use that time for displaying that this is made by AI, so that we are going to increase awareness to the people, right, which is a genuine content and which is AI based content. So like that, you have to see what are the advancements or what are the steps taken by the government recently to control this kind of misuse. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the title: IMF gives C grade for India's national account statistics. Do you know this IMF? What are the keywords here? So if you say keywords, first one is IMF. What is the full form of IMF? International Monetary Fund. What is this IMF? What it will do? When it was founded? Any idea? If you say about this IMF, it was formed after World War II, right? IMF along with this World Bank, they were Bretton Woods twins. They formed at the same time. And what is the work of IMF? IMF has to ensure economic stability of the countries. After this World War II or during this World War II, many countries spent a lot in the war, and that led to economic instability in many countries. At that time, after once this World War II ended, we came up with this Bretton Woods twins, that is World Bank and as well as IMF. World Bank, what it will do? It will provide loans for the countries for the development. Because of this World War, many destructions happened and even infrastructure loss happened. Again, they have to go for reconstruction, redevelopment in their countries. For that, they need to have the funds. Already they invested a lot in the World War. So do they have funds? No. So because of that, they established this World Bank, and now this World Bank will be giving loans for the countries which had been worst affected, and they use that funds for redeveloping, reconstruction, everything. On another side, IMF was also found. The important function of this IMF is to help countries which are in BOP crisis. What is the full form of BOP? Anyone? Balance of payment. What is this balance of payment? Every country has imports and exports. They will do trade with different countries. If you go back to IVC time, in ancient period also, we used to have trade with Mesopotamian civilization. Yes or no? IVC. India has this trade with this Mesopotamian civilization. If you say in 1945, at that time, after the end of this World War II, at that time also, one country used to have trade with another country, right? Because of that linkage only, many countries, they participated in this World War. Or else why these countries will be participating in the World War? Yes or no? That is basic common sense. So actually what happened, what is this balance of payment crisis is, if you are doing trade includes, we have imports and exports. Whenever we are doing imports and exports, if we are getting imports from other countries, we have to pay to that country, right? If that country is not having foreign currency to pay back, then that state is called as balance of payment crisis. And after this World War, many countries, they were in the situation of balance of payment crisis. To provide help for that kind of countries, IMF was established. And recently, if you see in this 2024 also, our neighboring countries, which are our neighboring countries? Pakistan, next one is Sri Lanka. They also faced this same balance of payment crisis in 2024. And again, they approached this IMF for help. Regarding Sri Lanka, India supported, but regarding Pakistan, India was silent. Okay, and not only that, India also faced this balance of payment crisis during 1990s. And in 1991, India approached this IMF. India asked IMF to give help, to provide help, to give loans. For that, IMF said, okay, I will give. But terms and conditions apply. What is the terms and conditions? IMF said that India needs to come up with LPG reforms. What is LPG? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Yes, at that time, there is no choice for us. We accepted the loan and we also said, yes, we are going to come up with these reforms. In 1991, we came up with this LPG reforms. Okay. So here, what is the function of this IMF? It wants to ensure economic stability of the countries. So how countries are working, so about their GDP and different types of economic indicators in that country. Based on that, IMF will give grades. So now in India, we have this national account statistics which will go for forecasting of our GDP methods, right? So for that, in India's national account statistics, now IMF gave C grade, guys. Normally IMF will be giving 4 grades, A, B, C, D, and in that India got this C grade. So now we have to see why India is having that much low grade. Have understood? So here you have to see about certain facts or general knowledge related IMF, and here you have to see 4 grades. In that India got C grade, and here from mains point of view we have to see why India got this least grade and what can be done to improve our score in the next grading. Okay, in this way we have to think, guys. Now let us see the context. Article 4 consultation report. Please make a note. Article 4 consultation report released by IMF. In that report, IMF graded India's national account statistics, which is going for GDP and as well as GVA and related some metrics. So this will be released by this so and so India's national accounts statistics, and because of this low performance in India, India got this C grade and it is the second lowest on this 4-point scale. It will be giving 4 grades. A means good, B means broadly adequate, C is some shortcomings, D is significant shortcomings. That means India is having this C means there are shortcomings in India's methodologies. Okay, now let us see the details. India's national accounts received C rating, indicating that there are some methodological weaknesses in the methods that we are using to identify or to predict GDP or GVA in our country. We have this CPI. What is the CPI? Consumer Price Index. So where we will come across the CPI, guys? In this chapter of inflation. What is inflation? Whenever there is rise of prices of goods and service in market, we will call as inflation. To measure that inflation, we have 2 indices. One is WPI, next one is CPI. What is WPI? We are going to measure the change of prices at wholesalers level is called as WPI. CPI is nothing but at consumers level, at you and me. Whenever we go to the nearby shop and whenever we are buying the goods and services, at that level, if there is increasing of price, we will use this CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. Here, in the same rankings, CPI for inflation got B ranking, that is, it is good only. And regarding government finance and external sector, monetary or financial statistics, again intersectoral consistency, we have B. Only for this estimations of GDP and GVA, India's grading is C, guys. That means if you see overall performance of India, India got B grade. And now let us see why this Indian account statistics got the C grade. The reason here is the base year, which is the base year that we will use now, 2011 to 2012. But now we are in 2025. That means it is more than how many years? More than 13 to 14 years, right? From 13 to 14 years onwards, there is no updation of base year. That is the one major reason they cited. So every year when we compare with 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, price obviously increased. For example, if you take one small egg that we'll consume every day. So if you compare this egg price in 2022, what was egg price in 2022? But now, like that, what is happening here? Every year the price will be increasing. How can we use this outdated 2011 to 2012 base year? That is the first important shortcoming that we can see in our economy. And next one here is, recently China came up with this updation of this base year to 2020. But India, no updation at all. That is the one problem they cited. And next one is, there are discrepancies in measurement approaches. Like there is significant gaps between production, that means output based, and expenditure spending based methods in our country. We are not following proper accurate measures for counting of how much expenditure we are doing and how much output we are getting. And next one is, there is lack of seasonal adjustment and granularity. So if you compare different seasons, like we have summer season, we have monsoon season, we have winter season normally. Monsoon is also called as rainy season. So in all these seasons, this manufacturing will be same or not? Yes. What about the consumption? Consumption will be altering. So based on the seasons, we have to adjust that consumption process. That is the thing which mainly said. We are not changing based on consumption. For example, if you see the summer season, in summer season, which goods will be having more demand in the market? Liquids, fruits will be having more demand. If you go to winter season, which goods will be having more demand? Budgies. That means season to season, what is happening? The demands of the goods is decreasing or like altering or not. Some goods will be having more demand, some goods will be having less demand. You can take the cool drinks. In summer season, we will be having more demand for the cool drinks, but in winter season and rainy season, normally less demand, right? So because of this, the problem in India is we are not adjusting seasonally also. That is one more reason they cited. But different countries, they will go for adjustment based on the season. And next one is historical inertia. So we are not going for revisions, base revisions from last 10 to 15 years onwards. We are using this 2011 to 2000 series. But European Union will be updating biennially. That means every 2 years, once in 2 years, European Union will be updating its base year. But we are having lots of inertia. So those are the main reasons which mainly said by this IMF. Because of that, we got this C grading, guys. Yes or no? If you are not changing our base year, it will be having impact on the GDP or not? The same thing. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the image, guys. So this image shows about thick fog envelops Dal Lake in Srinagar. The region is in grip of severe cold wave with temperatures plunging below the freezing point and mornings marked by icy winds and frost-covered landscape. So here you have to see cold wave, and for sure this year you can expect a question regarding cold wave in your prelims case. So you have to remember the numbers here. What is a cold wave? Cold wave, it is a condition of extreme cooling over region. And even last 10 to 15 days ago, you might have felt this cold wave in Hyderabad. Yes, morning you can't get up from the bed, and night extensive cool, right? What happens in this cold wave is the dropping of temperature below the normal levels. Okay, and here what happens in this cold wave exactly is sharp drop of air temperature near the surface. So because of this, we can see very low temperature at the ground level. And second one is, there is steep rise of pressure. Pressure is nothing but we will not have low pressure, we will be having high pressure at this surface of the ground. And next one is, there is strengthening of wind speed. And next one is associated with hazardous weather like frost and as well as icing. So these are the basic characteristics of our cold wave. And if you see the temperature, cold wave is considered as when a minimum temperature of station is less than 10 for plains and less than 0 for hilly regions. If on the plains, if the temperature is less than 10, it is called as cold wave, and in the hilly areas, it should be less than 0. Not only this, we have one more criteria, that is, for example, normal temperature in Hyderabad is, for example, let us take 24. If there is 4.5 to 6.4 degrees less temperature than normal, then it is called as a cold wave. If it is more than 6.4 degrees centigrade temperature change, that is called as severe cold wave. You have to remember this. 4.5 to 6.4 degrees centigrade of temperature decrease, that is called as a cold wave. If the temperature is decreased more than 6.4 degrees centigrade compared to that of normal, that is called as severe cold wave. On this, you may get a question, guys. And even they may ask what is the normal temperature should be there on plains and hilly regions to consider it as a cold wave. And now tell me, guys, what are the factors which are leading to this cold wave in India? If you study your geography, there you will be coming across different wind systems. So they are jet winds. And even I said about this volcanic eruption happened in Ethiopia, and this ash is drawn to India because of which winds? Jet streams, right? So because of this jet streams, we can see this cold which is there in this Mediterranean region, which will be brought over India, especially northwestern part of India and northern part of India will be getting experiencing this cold wave because of this first reason, jet streams. And towards north of our India, what we have? Himalayas. Himalayas are covered by snow and as well as ice. So because of this Himalayas also during this winter season, this northern parts will be experiencing very cold, very high cold wind that will be coming from this Himalayas. That will lead to decreasing of temperature. And next one here is strong westerly winds, which also causes cold wave because of this northeast monsoon in this northern part of India. And next one is extensive snow cover over this northwest Himalayas will also causes cold wave. What is the impact, guys? If there is any cold wave, what you experienced recently in Hyderabad? First one is impact on health. Everyone has this cold and as well as cough related fever. Everyone in your class. If one got, Geeta got this and spread it to entire class, right? So first one is human health, respiratory issues, asthma, pulmonary disorders, fever, everything that you'll get. And next one is agriculture, especially whenever we are having the standing crops. What are the standing crops? That means they are about to harvest. They are called as standing crops. So whenever you are having this wheat, mustard, etc., that will be getting worstly affected if you are having low temperatures. And especially cotton will be not be like harvested if you are having this kind of conditions. And next one is whenever we are having this cold wave, we'll want now heaters. We want geysers. We can't touch that water. Early morning it will be like icy water. So for that we need to have more energy. So there will be increased energy demand for using of heaters. And even in the cars while we are traveling also we will on our heaters, not ACs now, right? So there is increased energy demand, especially if you go to this rural areas. What this village people will do, they'll bring firewood and they will pile it up and they will be arranging some campfires like that. So because of this, what happens, that will also release more carbon dioxide emissions, PM 2.5 into atmosphere. And not only that, because of this extreme cold wave, can we come outside? Can we stay outside? No, because of this, it will be adversely affecting the outdoor workers, particularly farmers and as well as laborers. And what about transportation? There will be early morning fog, mist, the road will be not properly visible. So what happens? Transportation problem can happen, and sometimes it also leads to increased accidents. There is a major cause of accidents in the early morning during this winter season because of this fog and mist. Clear? And now let us see the next article. See the title, guys. Cyclone Ditwa to bring intense rainfall till weekend in Tamil Nadu. Once again, we are going to affected by this cyclone. Recently, which cyclone affected India? Cyclone Monta, Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal? Bay of Bengal. And again, one more cyclone in this Bay of Bengal, Cyclone Ditwa. So because of this cyclone Monta, which areas were affected, which states? Andhra Pradesh and even Odisha, Tamil Nadu to some extent. But now this Ditwa is going to affect Tamil Nadu the most. And Tamil Nadu can get severe rainfall. And even there is an alert of floods in Tamil Nadu and there is orange alert. Already is there, huh? Okay, see here. So what you have to see is cyclone. In your geography, in your NCRTs, the cyclone topic will be there clearly. So you have to see about what are the conditions for formation of cyclones. Especially have to focus on these areas in this cyclone topic, and many a times UPSC asks direct questions regarding this cyclone. I'll tell you how the question can be asked in UPSC. First, they will ask, recently cyclones is in news. Consider the following statements. They'll give you 3 to 4 statements and they will ask you to identify which of the above statements are correct or incorrect, or how many statements are correct or incorrect. And second kind of statement is, what is the present cyclone name? Ditwa. Earlier cyclone, Monta. Before that cyclone, don't know. Before that cyclone, not at all known. So what they will ask here is, they will give the names of cyclone in one row and they will ask whether it is, whether it was in Arabian Sea or like Bay of Bengal, and they may ask states affected because of that cyclone, and they'll give you 4 to 5 cyclones which happened in last 1 year, and they will ask you to identify how many pairs are correct or which pairs are correct. In this view also UPSC can ask you the question. This question, now Sheikh said cyclone Monta with good confidence in his throat, but if that was there in the examination, again you will be getting confused. Cyclone Manta, you have heard that, but whether it is an Arabian Sea or like Bay of Bengal, which state affected, it is Tamil Nadu or West Bengal or Odisha. So to minimize that kind of confusion, you have to make the notes in this way, like name of the cyclones, whether it originated in this Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea and which states got affected. And sometimes they may also ask you some unexpected question, which country gave that name. Okay, you know about this naming of cyclones, right? So we have 13 countries in this Indian Ocean region. They will give 13 names, 13 into 13, 169 names they will be giving in the order, and based on the alphabetical order. So IMD will be arranging them, and whenever cyclone comes, so they will pick up one name in this order only. Okay, that is the process of giving of namings for the cyclones, and you have to see which country gave that name also. Okay, so this is about this cyclone, and here you have to say about why this cyclone forms and what are the basic conditions. So if cyclone has to form, it has to meet some criteria. First one is, there should be high temperature. Temperature should be more than 27 degrees centigrade. And this one is, there should be Coriolis force. If there is no Coriolis force, no movement of cyclone in anti-clockwise or clockwise direction. And next one is, there should be continuous supply of moisture. That means this low pressure had to be formed on the sea, so that what happened, whenever water is getting heated, it will provide continuous moisture. Okay, there are certain criteria, you have to see that criteria. On this criteria also UPSC can ask a question. I'll show how question can be asked at the last. Okay, now let us see the next article, guys. Look at the title. PM Modi inaugurates Skyroot's first orbital rocket. So here, what is this space agency of government in India? ISRO. We know about this ISRO. Apart from that, government is also promoting private sector in the space technology. In that, we have private company called as Skyroot. And now this Skyroot is going to launch rocket. That means it is one of the milestone for private sector in our space technology. And this topic is very important from GS paper 3 under science and technology case. Let us see the context. Our Prime Minister virtually inaugurated Skyroot Aerospace Infinity Campus in Hyderabad and unveiled Vikram 1, marking the pivotal milestone in India's private space sector. Skyroot build one rocket. The name of that rocket is Vikram 1. Please make a note. You may get question regarding this Vikram 1. Which of the following rocket is Skyroot's rocket? And they'll give you 4 names, A, B, C, D, and they'll ask you directly pick up one option. Vikram 1 is India's private sector's first Skyroot rocket. If you see some details regarding that Vikram 1 rocket, this name of this rocket came from Vikram Sarabhai, who was the father of India's space program. And it is India's first privately built orbital class launch vehicle. It is the first of all India's private launch vehicle, guys. But if you go to US, we have Tesla, we have Elon Musk, right? In the same way, in India, we have the Skyroot, and it is the first ever launch vehicle of private sector in India. So there is a very high chance of getting question regarding this case, direct question. What are the key features? It is a multi-stage design. And the next one here is the payload. It can carry around 350 to 500 kg to low Earth orbit. And the dimensions is it is as tall as like 7-story building. And the flight is scheduled for late 2025 from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, guys. So these are some important facts. You see this article, guys, enabling a modern and future-ready labor ecosystem. So why it is in news? Actually, labor comes under concurrent list. Do you know about the Schedule 7 of Indian Constitution? Have you heard about the Schedule 7? What is this? Schedule 7 talks about 3 lists. What are they? We have union list or central list. We have concurrent list. We have state list. What are this list about? This list contains the subjects on which who have the power to make laws. For example, if the subjects which are there in this union list, who has the power to make the laws? Central government has the power to make the laws. In concurrent list, both state government and central government has the power to make the laws. And regarding state list, what are the subjects which are there in the state list? Now it is the power of state government to make the laws regarding that. But if you see this labor comes under concurrent list. So because of the state government and central government can make laws, both can make laws on that. So because of this, we have many number of laws in our country related to labor. So because of this, it is becoming very difficult to impose punishments on which law. Because of this, now recently 29 laws had been merged to form how many codes? 4 labor codes. And these 4 labor codes now we are going to implement in the full potential. And one advancement which we can see here is now we are going to provide social security for ZIG and platform workers also under this social security code. And even under occupational safety, we are going to improve the safety conditions for laborers who are working in these industries. Why? Because recently many disasters happened in industries in India. So by keeping all this in mind, so now government increased this safety provision, security of this laborers, right? So this is about that topic. Here just see about only this paragraph, guys. See only this paragraph, how these 4 labor codes are going to boost women in workforce. As you all know that according to periodic labor force survey, in India around 37% of female labor force participation is there, very less female labor force participation. So now here whenever we are increasing the safety for women, I think in 2 days back class I discussed about what are those 4 labor codes and how government is providing security for women. For providing security for women, government said that we have to increase CREET services. That means the places where women can feed her baby. And next one is to increase security for women in this night duties. And even they are focusing on providing of transportation. So like that, what government is doing? Increasing of safety for women. Obviously, whenever there is increased safety for women, can we increase participation of women in this labor force? Yes, that is the thing which mainly said here. That's it. Okay. If you see here, they are saying that the code which allows women to work at night with their consent. Why? Because now organization will be providing some safety arrangements. Thereby, it will widen opportunities across several sectors for women, so that they will support greater access and continuity of employment for women. And next one here is They said that there is a need for worker protection with requirement of competitive business environment, and they are going to provide faster dispute resolution so that women have access to essential rights, safety and social security. And this balanced approach, which supports investments and promotes stability, it will be helpful in strengthening of India's position in global value chain. Only this 3 to 4 points are important in this article case. Other than this, that is not nothing that much important. Already I gave you the detailed notes regarding that 4 labor codes. See that and just add these 3 to 4 points. How these labor codes are going to improve women participation labor force. Okay. And now let us see the next and last article of the day. Why India struggles to clear its air. As you all know that India is battling with this air pollution. Which areas in India are highly polluted? Metropolitan cities are highly polluted. Why these metropolitan cities are highly polluted in India? What might be the reasons? High population, vehicular pollution, industrial pollution. And next one is we are using more energy, because of that also it is releasing more amount of pollutants into atmosphere, because our electricity is produced from coal or thermal electricity. Next. Come on guys, next thing. Yes, stubble burning is one problem. Okay, if you see the recent study, what happened recently in Ethiopia? Volcanic eruption. Because of that, it is impacting 5 states weather now. Which are those 5 states? Rajasthan, Delhi region, Punjab, Haryana and UP. In all these 5 states, there is increased ash. Ash cloud is also happening. And even visibility had been decreased a lot. And even we cancelled many flights. And even we are rerouting flights from UAE to India route. So this article is saying that India is taking lots of steps to control pollution. What are the steps taken by the government? Recently, we heard about this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of CAQM's responsibility, and even we studied about this different air qualities and in which air quality index, which kind of phase implementation we have to do, we did. And recently, Delhi government imposed phase 3. What is that phase 3? They are going for online schooling, and they are going for banning of industrial activities, and even construction activities were stalled in Delhi region. And even recently we studied that to control this air pollution, now Delhi government is planning what? Cloud seeding, and even second advancement they are using is mist generator, artificial mist generator. We discuss all those things, no? Cloud seeding is nothing but we will use this aircraft and we will spray chemicals like silver iodide, potassium iodide into atmosphere, and that will cause formation of the clouds and they will cause rainfall. And we know about this mist generator. Mist generator is nothing but we will generate the mist so that this dust will come and attract with this micro particles of water and that will be settled down. That is the thing we discussed. So here this article is saying that India's repeat cycle of cloud seeding, smoke towers, odd even rules. Do you know this odd even rules? Every vehicle will be having this number plate. Number will be having, no? So here based on that, odd number vehicles will be allowed on one day and even number vehicles are allowed on alternate day. That is the thing that will be used in this Delhi to control air pollution. And next one here is festival crackdowns. What are these festival crackdowns? During this Diwali and as well as Dasra, and now we are going to have this Christmas, and now we are going to have this New Year celebrations. So this season is like festival season, and we will go for bursting of crackers. And if you are going for this bursting of crackers, what happens? That will cause us increased pollution, increased particles, chemicals will be released into atmosphere. So even though Supreme Court took strong steps, strong guidelines given to the government to control this crackers, and even Supreme Court allowed only selling and bursting of green crackers only. But did we follow all those things? No, not at all. So because of this, there are certain structural flaws in air quality management in our country, guys. And now here, this article is saying that India's response is weakened by intellectual trap and Western trap, and whatever the ideas that are came up by the government, that they are good on paper only. But if you say the implementation part, government had failed drastically to implement at the ground level. That is the thing which mainly said here. And what India needs is institutions designed for Indian constraints. Now, if you want to control this air pollution properly, what we need, so you have to focus on this last paragraph clearly. That is, we have to come up with institutions, and these institutions are to be dedicated for making up of clear rules on who leads and modern air law with explicit mandates and steady multi-year funding and credible enforcement of laws and public access to compliance data and science manager who can bridge science with governance and politics. So these points will give value to your answers, guys. So after your class, take out the paper and write these points, and you have to by heart that, and you have to add that points in your environment and ecology notes, guys. Very, very important. To show this only, I took this article for the discussion. Okay, very important. Okay, we need to have a dedicated institutions, and they have to make the clear rules regarding who leads. And next one is we have to come up with the modern clean air laws with mandates and study multi-year funding, credible enforcement, public access to compliance data, and science managers. So there are lots of keywords in this last paragraph. So try to note that and try to remember that, guys. Okay. And now let us see the prelims practice questions. Consider the following statements. There are two statements. Yeah, two only. In the northern hemisphere, tropical cyclone move in an anti-clockwise direction due to Coriolis force, whereas in southern hemisphere it will move clockwise direction. Come on, think. Again, you have to know this concept, right? So if there is low pressure formed, always wind move from high pressure to low pressure. If you take this is northern hemisphere, above equator is called as northern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere, because of this Coriolis force, deflection of winds will be there towards which direction? Right. That means now winds will move in this direction. Which direction is this, clockwise or anti-clockwise? If it is clock means like this, no, it is anti-clockwise. Have you seen the clock, how this moves? Okay, in northern hemisphere it is anti-clockwise. That means in southern hemisphere it is opposite, right? It is clockwise. See the statement once again. Northern hemisphere tropical cyclones move in anti-clockwise direction due to Coriolis force, and in southern hemisphere they move clockwise. Is right or wrong? The frequency of cyclones making landfall over the western coast of India has shown increasing trend in the recent decades, primarily because of faster warming of Arabian Sea compared to that of Bay of Bengal. This statement is also right. Actually, if you compare from the decades data, Arabian Sea used to have very less cyclones compared to that of Bay of Bengal, but now even in this Arabian Sea also there is increased trend of cyclones. Both the statements are right. Answer the second question, guys. A cold wave is declared in Delhi when maximum temperature fall below 15 degrees, minimum temperature fall below 4 degrees, minimum temperature is at least 4.5 below the normal for that day. Snowfall occurs in the city. Think. Confused? Maximum, minimum? Okay, think, guys. So these are the some important topics that appeared in our today's newspaper. Please do post your answers in the comment box. Don't forget, guys. And if you really like this class, please do hit the like button. And if you want to give the review for our academy or current affairs, our current affairs classes, we already posted Google review link, Google review form link in the description box, guys. Please do click that link and please do give the review. Don't forget. And you can follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing notes of this class in PDF format. and as well as you can follow us on our Instagram page, where we are providing main question with model answer and also prelims question with answer and current affairs in short. Don't forget, guys.